To journey into Kashmir is to step into a landscape painted by the gods themselves. It is a land of shimmering lakes, snow-crowned peaks, and valleys carpeted in saffron and emerald green. But amidst this staggering natural beauty, there is another story, a tale told not in words but in wood, stone, and brick. This is the story of Kashmiri architecture, a style as unique and breathtaking as the land that birthed it. It is a testament to the resilience, artistry, and profound spirituality of its people. These are not just buildings, they are living chronicles, each beam and carving a chapter in a long and fascinating history. They stand silently, yet they speak volumes of the cultures that have ebbed and flowed through this valley for centuries. What is it that makes a Kashmiri building so utterly captivating? It is a certain magic, a harmony between the structure and its surroundings. You see it in the way a wooden shrine seems to grow organically from the earth, its tiered roof echoing the shape of the pine trees that surround it. You feel it in the cool, solid presence of an ancient stone temple, its grand columns standing firm against the backdrop of the mighty Himalayas. The architecture here does not seek to dominate the landscape, but to become a part of it. It embraces the elements, the heavy winter snows, the tremors of the earth, the brilliant summer sun, and turns them into design principles. It is this deep, intuitive connection to place that gives Kashmiri buildings their soul. From the grandest mosque to the humblest home, there is a distinct character, a visual language that is unmistakably Kashmiri. Think of the intricate pindrakari, the delicate wooden latticework that filters the light into a mesmerizing dance of shadows. Imagine the majestic multi-tiered roofs designed to shed the heavy snow, which rise towards the sky like a prayer. These are not mere decorative flourishes. They are practical solutions born from centuries of experience. This blend of sublime artistry and profound practicality is the true genius of Kashmiri architecture. It is a style that is both robust and refined, earthly and ethereal, a perfect reflection of Kashmir itself. As we embark on this exploration, we will peel back the layers of this remarkable architectural heritage. We will discover the secrets held within the grain of deodar wood and the strength of mountain stone. We will learn how the people of this valley devised ingenious methods to protect their homes from the trembling earth. We will wander through sacred spaces, bustling old city lanes, and float upon serene waters to understand how people have lived and worshipped here for generations. This is more than just a tour of old buildings. It is a journey into the very heart of Kashmiri culture, a culture that has carved its identity into the very fabric of its homes and holy places. The story of any building begins with its materials, and in Kashmir, the materials themselves are legendary. Chief among them is the magnificent deodar cedar, the Devadaru, or wood of the gods. This timber is the lifeblood of Kashmiri architecture. It is strong, durable, and blessed with fragrant oils that make it naturally resistant to insects and decay. For centuries, Kashmiri craftsmen have understood its noble qualities, using it for everything from the mighty structural beams and pillars that form the skeleton of a building, to the most delicate, lace-like window screens. The wood's rich, warm color deepens with age, lending a sense of timeless grace to the mosques, shrines, and homes it adorns. Alongside the divine deodar, you find the steadfast strength of stone. The mountains that cradle the valley have always been a generous quarry, providing granite and limestone for the foundations and walls of Kashmir's most ancient and enduring structures. The great sun temples of a bygone Hindu era were built almost entirely of massive, precisely cut stone blocks, fitted together with such skill that they have withstood the ravages of time and turmoil. In later buildings, stone was often used for the lower levels, providing a solid, moisture-proof base upon which a lighter timber structure could be raised. This combination of stone and wood is a classic Kashmiri signature, a perfect marriage of strength and flexibility. Of course, one cannot forget the humble brick, locally known as sur. Baked from the valley's rich clay, these small, reddish bricks were used extensively, especially during the Sultanate and Mughal periods. They were ideal for creating intricate decorative patterns, for filling the panels in timber frames, and for constructing the grand arches and domes of mosques and tombs. You can see wonderful examples of this brickwork in the Jamia Masjid in Srinagar, where bricks are laid in mesmerizing geometric designs, creating a sense of rhythm and texture on the vast walls. They add a touch of warmth and human scale to even the most monumental buildings, connecting them to the very earth from which they came. Finally, there is the simple but essential element of mud, often mixed with straw, which acts as a mortar and plaster. This technique, known as kacha, has been used for millennia to bind stones and bricks, and to give walls a smooth, insulating finish. It is a material that breathes, helping to keep interiors cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Together, these four elements, deodar wood, mountain stone, baked brick, and earthen plaster, form the fundamental palette of the Kashmiri builder. They are sourced from the valley itself, perfectly suited to its climate and conditions, and used with a wisdom passed down through countless generations of master craftsmen. Living in Kashmir means living with the constant awareness that the ground beneath your feet can tremble and shake. The region lies in a highly active seismic zone, and this reality has profoundly shaped the way buildings are constructed. Over centuries, local builders developed brilliant, intuitive engineering solutions to make their structures flexible and resilient. One of the most important of these is the tak system. This involves creating a framework of timber beams laid horizontally in the masonry walls at regular intervals. These wooden bands act like shock absorbers, tying the entire structure together and allowing it to move as a single unit during an earthquake, which helps to prevent the walls from cracking and collapsing. Another ingenious earthquake-resistant technique is called daji diwari. The name literally translates to patchwork quilt wall, which perfectly describes its appearance. It consists of a timber frame, usually made of deodar or fir, which is then filled with panels of stone or brick set in mud mortar. This creates a light, flexible structure that can sway and absorb seismic shocks without catastrophic failure. If a panel is damaged, it can be easily repaired without affecting the integrity of the whole building. You can see these distinctive crisscrossing timber patterns on the walls of many old houses in Srinagar, a beautiful and practical solution to a constant threat. The heavy winter snowfall presents another major challenge for Kashmiri builders. A flat roof would simply collapse under the weight of several feet of snow. The solution was the iconic multi-tiered sloping roof, often covered with wooden shingles or layers of birch bark and earth. These steeply pitched roofs, sometimes in 2, 3, or even more tiers, allow the snow to slide off easily. The crowning glory of many of these roofs is a magnificent spire or brang, which is a uniquely Kashmiri feature found on mosques and shrines. This tiered, pyramidal roof style is not just practical. It gives the buildings a distinctive and graceful silhouette that is instantly recognizable. This cleverness in construction reveals a deep, almost instinctual understanding of natural forces. The builders didn't have complex engineering degrees or computer models. They had something far more valuable: the accumulated wisdom of generations. They observed how buildings behaved during earthquakes and heavy snows, and they adapted their methods accordingly. The Tak and Daji Diwari systems are a testament to this incredible folk knowledge. They represent a sustainable and resilient way of building that modern architects are now studying and beginning to appreciate. It is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective solutions are the ones that have been quietly perfected over centuries. Long before the arrival of Islam, Kashmir was a flourishing center of Hinduism and Buddhism. The architectural legacy from this era is best seen in the ruins of its magnificent stone temples. The most famous of these is the Martan Sun Temple, built in the 8th century by King Lalitaditya. Even in its ruined state, its grandeur is awe-inspiring. Built on a high plateau with a breathtaking view of the valley, it was constructed from massive blocks of blue limestone. The design shows a fascinating blend of influences, with Gandharan, Gupta, and even Roman styles visible in its fluted columns and grand colonnades. It was a monumental undertaking, a testament to the power and devotion of its builders, designed to capture the first and last rays of the sun. With the arrival of Islam in the 14th century, a new architectural style began to emerge, one that blended the existing traditions with new ideas from Persia and Central Asia. This created a unique form of Islamic architecture found nowhere else in the world. A perfect example is the Shah-e-Hamadan Khanqa in Srinagar. It is not a sprawling stone mosque but an intimate, almost delicate structure made primarily of wood. Its most striking features are its exquisite pyramidal roof, crowned by a tall spire, and its walls covered in colorful, hand-painted papier-mâché work. The intricate carvings and the vibrant floral motifs create an atmosphere of serene beauty and deep spirituality. The Sufi shrines or ziyarats that dot the Kashmiri landscape are another beautiful expression of this unique architectural fusion. These are often small square-plan buildings, built with a combination of timber framing and brickwork, very much in the Daji Diwari style. Like the Shah-e Hamadan Kanka, they are topped by a multi-tiered sloping roof and a characteristic spire. Inside, the tomb of the saint is usually draped in green cloth, and the air is filled with the scent of incense and the quiet murmur of prayers. These shrines are deeply loved community spaces, places of solace and hope, and their humble yet elegant architecture perfectly reflects their role in the daily life of the people. What is so fascinating about these sacred buildings is how they tell the story of Kashmir's spiritual journey. The solid, imposing stone of the Hindu temples speaks of an ancient classical past. The wooden mosques and shrines with their sloping roofs and intricate details represent a beautiful synthesis. They adopted the local construction techniques like the tiered roofs designed for snow and infused them with new decorative arts and a different spiritual purpose. It was not a replacement of one style with another, but a gentle blending, creating a sacred architecture that is uniquely and wonderfully Kashmiri. While the Kankas and shrines offer intimate spaces for reflection, the great mosques of Kashmir were built for grand congregational prayer. The most important of these is the Jamia Masjid in Srinagar, a structure of truly epic proportions. First commissioned by Sultan Sikandar in the early 15th century, it has been rebuilt several times after fires, but its essential character remains. What is immediately striking is its sheer scale and the unique architectural style. Instead of the massive domes and minarets typical of Mughal mosques in Delhi or Agra, the Jamia Masjid features a vast open courtyard surrounded by wide corridors, and its roof is supported by an incredible forest of 378 deodar wood pillars. Walking into the main prayer hall is, honestly, an unforgettable experience. The towering wooden columns, each carved from a single deodar tree, rise to the ceiling, creating a sense of immense space and rhythmic order. The atmosphere is quiet, cool, and deeply reverent. The design is a masterpiece of the indigenous wooden style, adapted for a monumental purpose. The exterior is equally impressive, with its grand brick archways and a magnificent pyramidal roof and spire over the main entrance, echoing the design of the smaller shrines but on a much larger scale. It is a building that feels both immense and profoundly peaceful at the same time. The craftsmanship throughout the Jamia Masjid is exceptional. The brickwork is laid in intricate patterns, and the wooden elements, from the massive pillars to the beautifully carved eaves, really showcase the skill of Kashmiri artisans. The design is a perfect example of the architectural syncretism of the period. The spacious courtyard and cloisters are reminiscent of Persian mosque design, but the construction materials, the brick and the abundant use of deodar wood, and the pagoda-like roof are purely Kashmiri. It is this unique blend that makes the Jamia Masjid an architectural treasure, a symbol of a faith that has put down deep roots in the valley's soil. These grand mosques were not just places of worship, they were the heart of the community. They were centers of learning, social gathering, and commerce. The area around the Jamia Masjid in Srinagar's old city is still a bustling hub of life, a maze of lanes filled with shops and workshops. The mosque stands at its center, a spiritual anchor for the community. Its enduring presence and unique architectural language are a powerful statement of Kashmiri identity, a testament to a faith and a culture that have shaped the valley for over 600 years, built by the people, for the people. The architectural genius of Kashmir is not confined to its grand religious monuments. It is equally present in the traditional homes of its people. The old houses, or havelis, in cities like Srinagar, are a masterclass in climate-responsive design. These homes are 2 or 3 stories high, built using earthquake-resistant daji, dawari, or tak techniques. The lower floor is used for storage or for keeping animals in winter, providing extra warmth to the living quarters above. The upper floors contain the main living spaces, carefully designed to maximize light and warmth during the long, cold winters. A defining feature is the dub, an enclosed wooden balcony that projects out from the upper floor. These dubs have large windows with exquisite pinjrakari latticework, allowing residents to enjoy sunshine and views while sheltered from cold winds. The interiors are simple but functional, with wooden ceilings and floors creating a warm, cozy atmosphere. The roofs are sloped to shed snow, a beautiful example of building in harmony with a challenging environment. These houses are not just shelters, they are perfectly adapted to Kashmiri life. One cannot speak of Kashmiri homes without mentioning the iconic houseboats. These floating residences on Dal Lake and Nijin Lake are a relatively recent addition from the late 19th century. They were built for British visitors who couldn't own land in Kashmir. Local craftsmen adapted their boat-building skills to create elaborate floating hotels and homes. Made entirely of wood, often deodar, they're famous for ornate interiors with intricate walnut wood carvings. They offer a unique romantic way to experience the beauty of the lakes. From sturdy earthbound havelis to gentle floating homes on water, Kashmiri architecture shows remarkable adaptability. Both use local materials, primarily wood, showcasing incredible Kashmiri craftsmanship. Havelis respond to earth and snow challenges, houseboats to water opportunities. Together, they paint a rich picture of life in close connection with nature, where beauty and practicality are woven into the very fabric of home. The Mughal emperors, who fell deeply in love with Kashmir, left their own indelible mark on the landscape, not with grand mosques, but with breathtaking gardens. They saw Kashmir as their own private paradise, an earthly reflection of the heavenly gardens described in the Quran. They created a series of terraced gardens, such as Shalimar Bagh and Nishad Bagh, on the shores of Dal Lake. These gardens are masterpieces of landscape architecture, designed with geometric precision. Water is the central element, flowing down from a natural spring through a series of channels, fountains, and pools, connecting the different levels or terraces. These gardens were designed for pleasure and contemplation. Each terrace offers a new vista, a different combination of flowing water, vibrant flower beds, and majestic cheena trees. The Mughals built elegant pavilions, or baradaris, with 12 doors, designed to catch the cool breezes from every direction, where they could sit and admire the view of the lake and the mountains. Shalimar Bagh, built by Emperor Jahangir for his wife Nur Jahan, is perhaps the most famous, with its exquisite black marble pavilions surrounded by fountains. These gardens are not just parks, they are carefully orchestrated experiences, designed to delight all the senses and create a sense of peace and harmony. Beyond the gardens, the practical need to cross the valley's many rivers and streams led to the construction of remarkable wooden bridges. The most famous of these was the Zero Bridge in Srinagar, a classic example of a cantilever bridge. These bridges were built entirely of deodar wood, using interlocking logs and beams without any nails or metal fasteners. The structure consisted of piers made from layers of logs laid at right angles to each other, which were then filled with stones to anchor them to the riverbed. It was an ingenious design that was both strong and flexible. Though many of these old wooden bridges have now been replaced, they remain a powerful symbol of Kashmiri engineering skill. The valley is also home to several forts, perched strategically on hilltops. The Hari Parbat Fort, which dominates the skyline of Srinagar, is one such example. Its massive stone walls were built by the Mughal Emperor Akbar in the late 16th century, with later additions by subsequent rulers. While primarily military structures, these forts also demonstrate the skill of Kashmiri builders in stone masonry. From the refined pleasure gardens of the Mughals to the robust, practical bridges and forts, these structures add another layer to the rich architectural tapestry of Kashmir. They show how the landscape was shaped not just for housing and worship, but also for pleasure, travel, and defense. Kashmiri architecture is not the product of a single, isolated culture. It is a rich tapestry woven from many different threads. Its story is one of continuous absorption and adaptation, as new ideas arrived in the valley and were blended with ancient local traditions. The earliest influences can be traced back to the Buddhist period, with its stupas and monasteries, whose multi-tiered designs may have been the distant ancestors of the later pagoda-style roofs of the mosques and shrines. This was followed by a powerful wave of Hindu influence from mainland India, which brought the classical traditions of stone temple architecture, as seen in the majestic ruins of Martand and Avantipur. The arrival of Islam in the 14th century, brought by missionaries and saints from Persia and Central Asia, marked a pivotal moment. This introduced new forms, such as the mosque and the kanka, and new decorative arts like papier-mâché and glazed tile work. However, instead of simply imposing a foreign style, these new elements were masterfully integrated with the existing building practices. The builders continued to use the local materials of deodar wood and brick, and adapted the traditional sloping roof form to the new mosques and shrines. This resulted in the creation of a truly unique style of Islamic architecture that is indigenous to Kashmir. Later, the Mughal conquest in the 16th century brought another layer of influence. While they didn't radically alter the local building style, they introduced their own refined aesthetic, most notably through their formal gardens. They also brought their expertise in stone masonry and arch construction, which can be seen in structures like the Hari Parbat Fort and the Pathar Masjid in Srinagar, a mosque built entirely of stone, which stands in stark contrast to the traditional wooden mosques. Even this, however, was an addition to the landscape rather than a replacement of the local style, which continued to thrive in domestic and vernacular building. In more recent times, British colonial rule and the advent of modernity have introduced new materials like concrete, corrugated iron sheets, and new architectural styles. This has been a mixed blessing. While offering new possibilities, these modern methods often clash with the traditional aesthetic and are not always well suited to the local climate or seismic conditions. This long history of cultural exchange is what makes Kashmiri architecture so fascinating. It is a living record of the valley's history, showing how its people have always been open to new ideas while holding fast to the wisdom and beauty of their own traditions. The architectural heritage of Kashmir is a priceless treasure, a unique and beautiful expression of human creativity in one of the world's most spectacular landscapes. These buildings, from the ancient stone temples to the intricate wooden shrines and humble homes, are more than just historical artifacts. They are truly the soul of Kashmir made visible. They embody the resilience of a people who learned to build in harmony with nature, creating structures that could withstand the challenges of heavy snow and trembling earth. They are repositories of art, culture, and spirituality, and they form the very heart of Kashmiri identity. To lose them would be to lose a vital part of what makes Kashmir so special. Sadly, this precious heritage is facing unprecedented threats. The relentless march of modernization has brought a wave of concrete construction that is often characterless and ill-suited to the region. Many old buildings are being torn down to make way for new ones, and the traditional skills of the master craftsmen who knew the secrets of daji dawari and wood carving are slowly fading away. The old cities are suffering from neglect, with many historic homes falling into disrepair. Furthermore, the constant threat of earthquakes remains, and many of these venerable structures are in a fragile state, in desperate need of careful conservation and reinforcement. It is absolutely crucial that we recognize the value of this heritage and work together to protect it. This requires a concerted effort from government bodies, cultural organizations, and, most importantly, the local communities themselves. We must encourage the use of traditional, sustainable building techniques and support the artisans who still possess these invaluable skills. Conservation projects must be undertaken with sensitivity and expertise, aiming not just to repair but to revive these buildings, ensuring they can continue to be a living part of the community. Public awareness and education are key. People really need to understand why their old buildings matter. The future of Kashmir's past is in our hands. By cherishing and protecting these whispering walls of wood and stone, we are not just saving old buildings, we are preserving a story. It is a story of faith, of artistry, and of an incredible ability to adapt and endure. This architectural legacy is Kashmir's gift to the world, a powerful lesson in how to live gracefully and build wisely in a challenging but beautiful land. Let us ensure that future generations can continue to walk through these enchanting spaces and hear the timeless stories they have to tell. It is a responsibility we owe to the past and a promise we must make to the future.